Guys, look at these speeds at the line last lap by. We told you on Wednesday they were drafting at 193.8, almost 194 miles an hour. The rule change this morning, they obviously did a pretty good job. Wayne Alton, Gary Smith, and the NASCAR officials pulling those hoses off there at 187, which is exactly where they wanted them to be.
I think they did a great job, and instead of taking both hoses off, it really would change the tuning of the carburetor. They only took one off, so most of the guys said they didn't even make any changes.
I talked to Wayne yesterday about this, and they were thinking about doing this rule change at that time, and they talked to a lot of engine builders, and they didn't seem to think that it would hurt the tune-up on these things any, and I think that's why they went ahead and did such a move race morning.
Well, we've got 3 Dodges, a Chevrolet, and look back in 5th position is the 79. That is a Dodge, last year's winner, the pole sitter, both events here in 2000 and 2001, Upland, California driver Joe Ruttman, all the way back from 15th starting spot. He's in 5th. He may be the oldest guy in the field, but Joe still getting racy, getting it done here in the early laps at Daytona. More live coverage of NASCAR Craftsman trucks when we come back. Back at Daytona, action continuing up front. A moment ago, we had our 4th leader, and that was Joe Ruttman. He gets drafted by Robert Presley, Jason Leffler, and look all the way from, as you heard Ray Dunlap say, from shotgun on the field. Here comes Mike Wallace in the Federated Auto Parts Chevrolet for Kenny Schrader. Where did he come from?
12 laps. He came from last to second. Unbelievable.
So Wallace has made a move. How about Ruttman in a truck that this team bought from Ultra a year ago? It was a short track truck. He came from back in 15th starting spot to lead a lap just a moment ago.
He got shuffled out of the draft a little bit there, which so frequently happens at this racetrack.
Well, one guy who slid back in the field after having a great start was our pole sitter, Ted Musgrave, in his Mopar Performance Dodge. Let's check in his pitch with Greg.
Well, we're going to check in with his brand new crew chief, Gene Need. Gene, it seems like the truck's jumping around a good bit. What's Ted saying?
Right now, but we'll get her working here in just a little bit.
What kind of adjustments do you make?
We're just going to lower the track bar a little bit. That's about it.
Okay, we got a crash on the track right now, guys.
And that looks to be Rick Crawford and 2 other trucks involved as Crawford spins. Some trucks trying to get slowed down. One truck looks like it may have gotten tagged. That may have been Brian Sockwell. Let's check a look as he spins around. No, that's the 90 truck. Oh, a tough break for Lance Norick with a brand new sponsorship on board. A great qualifying effort, the Express Personnel Services Chevrolet. And also involved, there's Crawford, who we saw him spinning early on.
Yeah, I think that's where the accident started, with Rick Crawford spinning, and Lance Norick got hit from behind as the trucks were trying to slow down off of turn number 4. Looks obviously Rick got hit in the back end. You can see a little bit of damage in the back. We don't know exactly what started that crash, but good news for Rick Crawford. He's back underway and did not lose a lap.
There's a look at Lance Norick. He had that great run here a year ago, finished 4th at Daytona. This year, a very special sponsor coming on board these guys, Express Personnel Services. They do a lot of hiring around the country and providing with personnel. See what happened here a moment ago on lap 14.
That's Travis Quapple, it looks like, on the bottom of the racetrack. Got out of control, saved it. See, there's Rick Crawford spinning down the apron there. He probably turned left to avoid Travis Quapple and lost the car. There's Rick Crawford. Travis Quapple's already back up on the racetrack. And here you watch the trucks coming off turn number 4. You see there's Lance Norick and the 90 truck get turned around by that blue truck right there.
I wonder if there was a little fluid back there, something on the racetrack that started all that. We never really seen Crawford get hit, or Travis for that matter. He made a remarkable save there. That was awesome.
Sure did.
And will there be pit stops? Here comes one truck. It looks like Dennis Setzer down pit road. There was a lot of concern over fuel mileage, and now with that hose coming off, a lot of their calculations may have gone away. So here comes Setzer down. Here is Hornaday down. The 75 truck on pit road. That's David Starr. Coy Gibbs, Joe Gibbs' youngest son. The Navy truck for John Wood. And take a look at Dennis Setzer. And let's check in down in the Hornaday pits with Greg.
Well, Hornaday called in and said he's just a little bit tight, so they want to make an air pressure adjustment here. Folks, we may see 4 tire changes here in the Truck Series all season long right now. Hornaday doing rights now, but the crew will come over. Now, he's getting help today from the GMAC crew and the Net Zero crew from the Busch Series. The one truck is already gone, as they did right side tires only, so Ted Musgrave will improve his track position greatly.
And there's a look at Ted Musgrave in the Mopar Dodge. He led all drivers last year with 7 victories on the season, including the season finale at California. As we are under caution for the first time, coming out on lap 14, this truck spinning. Busch Grand National drivers were emerging, a lot of young talent. Here's another one coming to the top, and that is Robert Presley out of Asheville, North Carolina. And there's a look at Robert Presley making his very first NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series start. He had 205 Busch Series starts, 10 wins and 6 poles in the Busch Series, but he spent the last 8 years as a Winston Cup regular, and of course his best finish, a second at Chicagoland last year to Kevin Harvick. So glad to have him here full-time in NASCAR's Craftsman Truck Series, and he is being shown as our leader. There's a look at Robert, 42 years of age, out of Asheville, North Carolina. His dad, Bob Presley, one of the best on the short tracks ever in the Carolinas and Tennessee.
Without a doubt. He used to drive for Richard and Leo Jackson, who I also was fortunate enough to drive for later on. They had that red car, number 4. And when that car showed up, you knew he meant business.
Let's check in the Coy Gibbs pits with Amy.
Well, this MB&A Chevy has knocked the radiator out of it. Just poked my head in, talked to Coy Gibbs, said, Coy, who exactly did you make that contact with? He says, I'm the one that got into the 14 truck, causing Rick Crawford to spin around. So they're going to change this radiator for Coy and try to get him back out.
Well, thank you, Amy. That explains what happened to Crawford. It looked like he was running along the bottom of the racetrack, and we see him sliding sideways.
That's that closure rate we were talking about before. They run up on him awful quick. It's hard to justify and judge exactly how far to go before you let off or hit the brakes.
These trucks make such a big hole in the air. That's why you close on them so fast. That's when the Winston Cup cars had that blade on the roof, which they took off for this year. The closure rate was so fast, and the trucks fight the same thing.
They got an awful lot of horsepower, and when you knock that big hole in the air, the truck in front, the guy behind, if he gets a little sniff for that engine, that thing really accelerates and goes forward very, very fast. And it's just talking about veterans, it's hard to judge when to let off and when not to.
And a moment ago, you saw Jason Leffler try to make a move, and he pulled to the outside. Looked like the truck just stopped on him as Robert Presley.
Got the help.
And here, these guys using some drafting. Look how close they are.
I would call that help. I would call that help.
I'd say so.
We heard a spotter said you got the help, and he sure did. There's Mike going for the lead on the inside.
Talking about Mike Wallace. Inside. Makes a move on Robert Presley and takes the lead from 36th spot. And here's the Wolverine Chevrolet of Hornaday back on pit road. Ray, what's wrong?
Loose lug nuts, Jerry. Ron Hornaday said he had a terrible vibration and it had to be lug nuts, so they're going to go to that right side and check on it. Once again, kind of an amalgamation here. He said no loose lug nuts over there. Everything looks good on the front, so they didn't have to tighten anything, but Hornaday's still saying he's worried about that vibration.
And indeed, you would be at 187 or plus miles an hour, and a guy that's a veteran like him knows that when you got a vibration, whoa! Mike Bliss is scaring me here just a moment. Sliding up in front of Terry Cook, who's having a good run early on.
I was looking at Larry Gunselman back there in the red and white truck, and Joe Ruttman almost get together there. I was looking at that while you were looking at the other thing.
You were picking a different red.
Great run early on for Larry Gunselman. All the way up into the top 10, up in the 6th position right now.
There's a little shuffling back there. Here goes Presley, as Mike Bliss will give Presley the shove by of Mike Wallace. So Presley in the Dodge, then comes Bliss in the Chevrolet, Wallace in the Chevrolet, then it's Leffler in the number 2 Dodge.
Robert better be careful with that yellow line down there on the bottom of the racetrack. NASCAR was handing out penalties right regular yesterday for that.
Yeah, that was more just a wrist slap, I think.
Yeah.